This is the 14th of July, Rabbi Levitt, Chofetz Chaim.
She has to prepare with Simchas Menuchas HaNefesh and Simchas HaChaim, and you can't do that if you're so worried and stressed out that you don't have enough time to prepare, and there's only a few minutes left, there's only an hour left, and blah, 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 blah.
Well,
whatever you do, you do. You just put an alarm clock in your house and say, until this time, we're prepared for Shabbos, and then the alarm clock goes off, then that's it. You start going to the shower, and that's it. No stress.
Amen.
We have a siren going.
The siren, okay, yeah. If you hear the siren, so then
and someone's and the public singing from the public loudspeaker.
Oh yeah. Oh, you have music.
Gone. Yeah, he's gone.
Where's going?
Okay, Alan is
he pressed something, I think.
He'll be coming back.
That's Hashem.
Yeah, I'm in the Shabbos table over here, so there's a lot of room, Baruch Hashem, and I just put my computer in front of my stender. And it works great.
Yeah. Got a good view of you, which is unusual.
Yeah, it's true. That's a good point. It's a good position.
Yeah, well, this is generally during the week. This is my wife's office, so I can't be in here.
Right.
But today, she's shopping this morning. Okay. All right. I also shopped. I already shopped. All right. Okay. Oh, I guess you don't want to do Maseches Nida, do you? Okay. That's what I was doing. Here's the Chofetz Chaim. And we are in Klal Hey. And I think we were in Sif Hey. Or no, I think we got up to Sif Vav.
Yes, Sif Hey.
Don't have it marked off.
I think we were halfway through Hey.
Halfway through Hey. Okay, that's what I thought I remember. I think, yeah. Okay. So we're up to Vehine. In Nevo Limnos is Godel HaKilkulim, and you asked about what's this word Kilkulim mean. I think we're in the middle of the. No, I think we finished this. No. Okay, we'll do it again. We'll go from Vehine. In Nevo Limnos is Godel HaKilkulim. He's talking about the beginning of the Sif. We're talking about a person who's very concerned about what other people think about him, and he goes around asking people, what did Ploni say about me? And if the person just sort of tries to brush him off and say, don't worry about it, nothing to worry about, blah, blah, blah. And he says, no, I want you to tell me. And he insists and he pressures him. Then the person tells him the truth, which would be rechilas, because we said it doesn't matter whether somebody's pressuring you to do an avera, you can't do an avera, and so in any case, but he's not talking about that person. He's talking about how foolish this person that goes around worrying about what everybody thinks about him, and as a result of this. It comes to sinas chinam. Nasu sonim gemurim. Okay, now we're up to the the next paragraph, Vehine, inavo limnos. If we would come to work out the godol hakilkulim, the great amount of kilkulim, the kilkul, it means things are not working the way they're supposed to be. They're all messed up and ruined. And a calculation of how many positive and negative commandments that it's quite likely and regularly in transgression of mi shemut ba b'mida hamaguna hazos, someone who's sunk in this despicable character trait. Kotzra hayiriya me'akelim. This is an interesting expression that Chofetz Chaim uses. I don't think I've ever seen it anywhere. You translated it yesterday as there wouldn't be enough ink to in the pen to be able to write all of the things, which is interesting because the word urea over here is the same word as is the modern day word they use for shooting.
What?
But I guess this is called like shooting from a pen. It comes out from the pen. The kalim, the instruments, is not really a pen, but anyway, that's the way they translated it. Ein le'el b'psicha, take a look in the psicha to the Sefer Chofetz Chaim, which enumerates that we got 17 lavin and 14 essen that a person is potentially in violation of transgressing through being involved in improper speech. V'tavin es divorenu, ki be'emes oser kabbalas lashon hara rechilas, hu afilu im echad siper lehem me'atzmo, davar shenogea lo, al haba. Sibsa haTorah sheloi lahamin bazeh rak lachush. Even if, in truth, because in truth, it is absolutely forbidden to believe lashon hara and rechilas as being factual. You're not allowed to believe the report that the person is telling you, because it's a report that speaks in denigration of a Jew who has a cheskes kashrus as being a proper and upstanding Jew. Vafilu im echad siper lehem mi'atzmo davar shenogea lo al haba, even if the person is telling you information that may be necessary and relevant to you in the future to be able to protect yourself. Nevertheless, sibsa haTorah shelo lahamin bazeh rak lachush. You're not allowed to believe it being true. You're only allowed to take it into account and take the necessary steps to protect yourself on that possibility. But if it's not relevant at all in regard to the future, there's nothing that the person is saying which has anything to do with you personally being able to protect yourself. Asura afilu hashmiya levad. Then it'll be absolutely forbidden to even stand there and listen to what he's saying. Even if you make up, you're not going to believe it. You just have to say, "I'm sorry, I have to leave right now," and leave. V'al akas kama b'kama la'avod al chaveroi ula'atziroi ad shiavo hamasaper l'klal sipur rechilas. All the more so, says Chofetz Chaim, in light of the above, is it improper to pressure someone to speak lashon hara, which has no value or benefit for the person who's pressuring him to relate, to hear? Vashomea le'iser kabbalas rechilas. The usher, it's absolutely forbidden. V'hu chote u'machtias havero. He is sinning in in causing this person to speak rechilas, and the other person obviously is sinning in speaking the rechilas. And then when he believes the rechilas that he's being told, so he's over on another violation, this person. Therefore, a person has to be very distance himself from being involved in this type of activity, going around asking, what did Ploni say about me? What did Ploni say about me? Forget it. Unless, of course, like we said previously, that it's something that he may need to, that he definitely does need to know, because it is something that he's asking about which pertains to the future and his ability to protect himself from damage. To know how to protect himself from Ploni. Okay. Oh, so I read the whole thing. Okay. So now let's go to Vav and Alan. Is Alan trying to get in?
Don't know.
Oi, what happened to Alan? Oi. Maybe he just got called away. We'll find out in a second. Now he's not answering. Okay, I think maybe he had, oh.
He's back in.
Okay, he's back in. Okay, Alan, we got you back in.
Have to get something off the computer though.
Okay. Okay, let's go to Sif Vav, and we call upon Roy to continue the reading. Vada, and you should know, or as they, ArtScroll translates it, I think, take notice.
Right. Vada, take note. Yesh od chelek besor kabbalas rechilas ve'uchamo shavera. That there is another component of the prohibition against believing rechilas, as I will explain presently. She'apalu im nesper bered lo shehu emes mi shefiru lo. Even if Shimon confirms that an account was relayed to him in which Levi seemingly undermined him is true, Sheachod Devar Elov, for Levi had indeed said something about him, or Asa Maaseh Neged Retzono, or done something not to his liking. Ach yesh b'davar hazem l'shaperitu l'tzer hatov u'letzer hazachus. But Levi's statement or action can be construed in a positive, favorable light. Shelo hayo b'vonoso lehakaniso nikto v'zo rak anin achar. By saying that he never meant to offend Shimon, Rather, he had said he had something else in mind. Shalifi, Ha'anayin, Hahu, Lo Yeh To, Avala Olov. And in the context of what he intended, Levi had done nothing wrong. V'yorua the mitzvah min hadin ladin ladon aso lekef zakus. Now Shimon must in fact judge Levi favorably, for it is known that there is a mitzvah to give someone the benefit of the doubt. And hence, says the art scroll, even if Reuben presented the information negatively, Shimon is instructed to judge it favorably. Vahu al yadi shelo ratzah larun also lekaf zechus. But if Shimon does not heed this mitzvah, then by refusing to judge Levi favorably, Mibila Neshatar Babe Olav Anin Ze La'avelo Ma Shedavar Olav Also Ma'aso Negilu. That which Levi said or did to him automatically becomes transformed into his mind into a wrongdoing. Unakat la belibo olay avo se. And as a result, he bears resentment in his heart against Levi. Lachain Nikora Moshum Ze B'Shem Mikabel Revelios. Because he interpreted Reuben's account in this manner, Shimon is therefore considered a believer of Rechilus. V'ayin lekabon v'lelo v'hahere. See below in clause 6, CF3 in the gloss. Ma Shetzivyeru Ashanei Zerori Le'aranei Kabbalah Rechilus, where we give two examples of believing Rechilus. V'hakol ba'al yadei ze shelo dan also lekaf zechus, in which all the repercussions resulting from not judging other people favorably.
So this is a very interesting thing the Chofetz Chaim is pointing out that people may not be aware of, that in regard to the prohibition of believing Rechilus. So even if a person finds out that really what this gossip monger revealed to me, right? Chofetz Chaim has been saying all along, oh, you're not allowed to believe that it's true. You're not allowed to believe that it's true. You're only allowed to be choshesh. What if a person actually finds out that it's true? Everything that the person said was factual. So now what? So Chofetz Chaim says, now you have a obligation to don what the person said or what the person did favorably. And if it's a possible way, if there's a possible way to explain what he said or did as being not out to get you, and you could judge it in a favorable light. So then you're required to do so. And the failure to do that will mean that even though what the person told you is on the face of it is true, if you take it in a way that it's going to that you're believing that the person is out to get you when there's really a way to judge him favorably, you're still in violation of believing Rechilas. And so therefore, this is something to take into account. Always, even if you're going to judge the person, judge the one that he's talking about, as he said something that wasn't in a defamatory or degrading way, or what he did was not an attempt to undermine you, but nevertheless, even though you're required to believe that, but on the other hand, you are allowed to take steps. Still, you're still allowed to be choshesh. Still allowed to take steps to protect yourself on the just in case the other way of looking at what he did is in fact going to come out lemaisa, that he and then you'll be able to protect yourself. You're still saying you can protect yourself. Always can protect yourself. Okay. What's the examples that I'm curious what the examples the Sefer you have tells us?
Nothing. There's a footnote to the sentence, because he interpreted Reuven's account in this manner, Shimon is therefore considered a believer of Rechilas, because he bears a resentment against Levi. It says, the footnote, the prohibition against accepting Rechilas forbids one from accepting unsubstantiated negative information that may lead him to hate another Jew. Similarly, even if the information has been substantiated, one may not interpret it in a negative manner that will cause him to hate another Jew. This too is a form of accepting Rechilas, and it has a reference there. See, and the Chaim and Chelkas Binyamin, who note that in and Chofetz Chaim describes this ruling as dealing with a case where Reuven presents Levi's actions negatively. See scenario H. And then there's scenario H.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah, let's hear the story, a juicy story here.
Is that the attitude? All right.
Yeah, well, it's all made up.
All right. Scenario H.
No, I'll tell you why. I'm just interested. We just said in a conceptual sense what the Isser would be in accepting Rechilas in this case. So I'm interested to hear how far you got to go in order to say, oh yeah, the person didn't mean anything wrong against me. I'm interested to hear how far the art school is probably going to take it and go to the nth degree to show us that. So I'm interested to how he says how far you have to go.
It's a short scenario. The oldest brother comments frequently to the youngest brother that the middle brother is living beyond his means.
Okay.
He expresses worry that his debts will eventually crash down on him. When this happens, the bankrupt middle brother bemoans his fate to his youngest brother, who reveals that the oldest brother has been worrying about this for a long time. The middle brother is furious and ascribes the criticism to envy. Although the youngest brother's report is true, the middle brother has a mitzvah to judge the oldest brother favorably and ascribe his comments to love and concern. So why would he interpret it the way he did? Or just straight off like that? I don't think that's. I think if it was brothers, he would be saying, "Oh, I wish he'd told me," or something like that.
So in other words, brother number one is telling to brother number three how brother number two is living beyond his means, and then brother number three relates to brother number two that brother number one has been talking about this to him.
Just a minute, I got confused about the brothers. The eldest brother has been worried about the middle brother, and has been telling the youngest brother about the middle brother.
Right. So how's the middle brother find out about it?
So then the middle brother gets into trouble and tells the youngest brother that he's in trouble, and the youngest brother said, "Yes, the oldest brother has been telling me, has been worried about you for some time."
Oh, I see. Okay, very good. Very good, Roy. You remembered, on the ball. Baruch Hashem. You got it. And so now what do we, and so how does brother number two know how does brother number two know that brother number three is telling him the truth? Why isn't he required where do we see in this story that he found out that there's Devarim Nikorim that corroborate that brother number one has been saying this? Or is simply because maybe since they're brothers, he's Neman Kabei Trey. What one brother says to another brother, a brother believes as being.
I believe so. I think so. I don't think that there's no indication about the credibility of the stories. I think that what you just said, they just believe it and that's it. In this case,
because in a normal case, not with brothers, but just with other people, unless the person is a Neman Kabei Trey individual, that he has a specific known to him to be a particularly truthful individual. You should not even believe that it's true.
I think even
still say that it's not really what
I was going to say. Even with a person who's believable, it may not necessarily be relating what was correct. He wouldn't be lying, but he might have misinformation that he believes is true.
Okay, so okay, we got over that issue. So now we're focusing over here in this scenario about the fact that brother number two is accepting the fact that brother number one has been talking about him to brother number three, right. And we don't seem to be having any trouble with that per se, to believe that. And it could be, I'm just thinking right now, that because on the face of it itself, it's not a denigrating type of a thing that he's brother number one is saying about brother number two. He's expressing his concern to brother number three that maybe we should tell him something, or like, what should we do? Is there something that we could do about this, or something of that sort? Of it's not necessarily that he's denigrating brother number two, and so that's the lesson that the art school is telling us, that that brother number two has a mitzvah over here to view the remarks that brother number one has been saying to brother number three about brother number two, that they are only remarks that express his love and concern for him. And therefore, if he would believe, if he would take these conversations that they had as being expressions of denigration, of ill will towards brother number two, and that would cause brother number two to feel enmity and animosity towards brother number three, but brother number one. So then that would be that brother number two has violated the prohibition of accepting a report of rechilas.
Hmm. Yeah, as it says here, what you just said, that the middle
Even
brother, the middle brother has a mitzvah to judge the oldest brother favorably and ascribe his comments to love and concern.
Right.
Although
Even
the
though
youngest brother is true.
Right. Even though we can, even though we have a chiddush over here that even though he's not required to not believe that brother number one has been talking about him, that we don't expect brother number two to do, but we do expect him to judge what he has been saying about him in a favorable way. So therefore that's also a chiddush. It's not required. He's not going to be, as long as he judges what he said about him favorably, he's not going to be in violation of accepting rechilas, of believing the report. He could believe that the brother number one was talking to brother number three about him, and he won't be in violation of a prohibition of accepting rechilas, of believing rechilas, because he's saying, I don't see anything negative in what he was saying. He was just expressing his love and concern for me. That's not a violation of accepting a rechilas. Okay, very good.
The only thing that the middle brother number two could be annoyed about is that brother number one didn't say anything to him beforehand. Why didn't brother number one? He might be angry because why didn't brother number one tell me about this already and help me out before I got into this mess? That's the only thing he could have said, which would be, sort of, again, would not be rechilas.
Right. Well, in that regard, brother number two would have to say to himself and judge what brother number one did in a favorable way. He would say, "Oh, the only reason that he didn't come to me first is because he was trying. He was trying to figure out with brother number three what would be the best course of action in this situation. What does he think, and what can we do?" And he doesn't have any issue with going to brother number one himself, but perhaps there's another possibility that that the brother number three could suggest that the brother number one hadn't considered. But you're right that we had that when it comes to speaking about another person. First, you have to give tochacha to the person in question before you could speak about him to other people. That's correct. That is correct. So that's a good point. In other words, right. You're saying we're not focusing on that.
No, but still.
Is it really correct for brother number one to approach brother number three and make these comments to him all this time without telling brother number two what he thinks about without mentioning it to brother number two, to give him a bit of a
But again, as you said, they've got to work out the correct way, and by the time they worked it out, perhaps it was too late. They left it too late to help him.
Well, yeah, because that brother number 2 ended up finding out about brother number 1's conversation with brother number 3 from brother number 3. So, there's, that's really why it's the best off, unless you know that brother number 3 is not going to reveal this conversation to, right? That for sure was Rechilas, what brother number 3 did. There's no, there was no benefit in him relating that conversation, relating that information to brother number 2, because especially if he doesn't, there was no point in that. It could cause brother number 2 to harbor animosity and enmity towards brother number 1. So that what brother number 3 did is certainly improper. Okay. Wow. Okay, so that's the Tosfos on the Chofetz Chaim. We asked all the questions, we answered them. What time do we have over here? 3 minutes left. Okay, so what do we got over here?
Zion.
Okay, let's start Zion. Lou, you want to read Zion for us?
Okay. Im kavar avar v'kibel rechilas. If he already believed rechilas, tikuno, he can still fix it. Lahotzi hadavar milibo shelo leha minam. He must remove the information from his heart and not believe it.
All right. Excuse me if I come back and you're not there. Have a good Shabbos, but I'll try and be quick.
Okay, have a
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Vafilu im kasha lo hadavar lechashov sheha misaper bada es kol hadvarim milibo. Even if it is difficult for him to believe that the person who told him the Rechilas made it up completely, Yachashov ulai hosif hamid saper o gara ezer parat may ha. He should still consider that perhaps it's not completely accurate. Maybe he omitted something or added something. So in other words, the person who received the Rechilas should be looking for every possible explanation that would help him to not believe it completely.
Right.
O Eza tevos me hadibur shamar poloni alav, or a few words from what the original speaker said. O Amar Benigun Acher, or he repeated the words in a different tone of voice. Oh, in other words, the tone of voice of the speaker of Rechilis is different from the tone of voice of the original speaker, so that you get a different impression, a not true impression from the tone of voice that he used. Sha'al yedei ze nish tana ha'inyan mitov l'ra, in a way that altered it from being good to bad.
Yisvadeh al zeh.
But v'yikabel al atzmo al lehaba.
Oh, man.
He must resolve that in the future, shalo lekabel od lashon hara, and he won't accept any more lashon hara urechilas al adam miYisrael, about a Jewish person. V'yisvadeh al zeh, and he must confess verbally. Uvazeh yisakein ha-isur she'avar, and by doing so, he rectifies his transgression. Im lo siper hadavar adayin la'acherim, as long as he has not shared this with other people.
Right. Because in that case, I think he'd have to go to the person that he spoke about and like we said before, and be Matthias him.
Right.
But like this, since all he did was believe a report that someone else told him, he doesn't have to go to the subject and say, Mr. Subject, I'm sorry that I believed a report about you. That he doesn't seem to have to do here. All he has to do is try to remove it and minimize the truth of what it was, and then he could go to Hashem and say, Hashem, I'm sorry that I accepted this report that I did this avera, say vidui, and then that is the tshuva on the avera alone.
Right.
Interesting. I'm just thinking right now, he doesn't mention this, but maybe it's implied in what he says that when and the Chofetz Chaim is saying we're required to not believe it and to discount it and say the person basically got it wrong. The person is exaggerating. The person is unfairly reporting the story to me. So it almost sounds like you're on the one hand you're saying that the subject that the person that he's speaking about is a good guy, and then you're making the one who's telling you the story as a bad guy. Is there any? I mean, it's true. He's not allowed to say what he's saying, but maybe you could. Maybe, I wonder if are you allowed to? Are you required to say, oh, he's just doing this, thoughtlessly, or he doesn't mean to say this in this such a negative way about Plony, in order to keep your he's only trying to help me, you know, maybe if it concerns the future, I don't know. Just thought about that. Okay. We'll
All
leave
right,
you
thank you.
at that point.
Have a good Shabbos.
36.
All right, Shabbat
Have a
Shalom,
great
good Shabbos.
Shabbos.